Hey, you guys. Wanted to come on and say good morning, good afternoon, not good night. I wanted to come on because it's been a minute since I've been live on Meta, Facebook, or Instagram, but I wanted to come on to give you kind of a face to face to give you some context as to what I am doing and where we're going in my journey. Um, I know that I've mentioned a couple of things that are unfolding or coming out that may seem like I'm missing in action, but I'm not. I'm actually working on something that I made a small investment in that allowed me to step into a room that was created through an idea many years ago. I didn't share it with many people, but I've always aspired for certain things that I thought was too hard along the journey. One thing about purpose, it'll allow you to seek out what you don't already know. And in that seeking, it allows us to understand that there's an appointment that is required for us to take heed of the warnings, but it is also necessary to walk into the purpose at the appointed time. And many times when we talk ourselves out of it, it is the very thing that keeps us in a suffering or keeps us in a, I wish I could have done that. And if you're looking at it from the outside of your eyes, meaning as you're looking at how many opportunities we pass up on a day, or maybe you're wondering why you didn't follow up with some loved one or someone that you just lost touch with, and all of a sudden you hear that they're no longer with us. It is those moments that we have to take heed that there is a nudge for us to pay attention. So if you don't know, time is it's moving. Time waits for no one. It is borrowed time, time that we are assigned to fulfill what we are to do. And so those lessons that we learn along the way are the things that I missed along the way. Speaking about things that were what the mind was telling me or the heart was telling me and not fulfilling what was thrown in my lane of expertise, I had to go through a lesson that had to be learned to do it now. Now, I understand that some will get this, some will not. But if you still have some maturity of training up a child or teaching someone a better concept or a better way of doing things, or you're a trainer on your job and they're trying to shadow you to learn how you did something. If you are an author, someone who has put their concepts in a book to help people have a blueprint to learn how, those are things that are necessary that everyone needs to pass the baton. So I'm stepping into a place where I understand that I missed some things, I recognize some things, and I refuse to step away from it. I refuse to let someone else dictate how I have been given the gift. Because when you sit aside too long, someone goes in, but they don't have the same expertise that you walked out. They don't have your footprint. They don't have your encrypted code that was a God idea. So don't miss the mark. Don't be like me, because I've missed a lot of marks. But I will say that there's grace in every season. Grace is to learn the lesson, recognize that I missed some things along the way. And if you're new to me and you may not even know behind the scenes all of the missed marks. That's the layup that God gives us. And we missed it by, kind of fumbling the ball or speaking about something, putting a cart before you put the thing that's going to move the cart in place. Well, those are lessons. But there's a way to do it through order. And when you learn the order of what you're supposed to be doing, you'll understand that there's someone that needs your blueprint. And it doesn't matter what age you are. Doesn't matter if you are a college student, high school student, a senior, or someone who is a parent, a teacher. We are teaching what we've already walked out. So just to give you some understanding of what I'm doing, I mentioned on one of the stories that I used to do hair. I used to love doing cosmetology, doing hair, coming up with some ideas of how I wanted to do it. But at the time, I didn't know how to. And so I had these ideas that I wanted to create certain hairstyles. And for the men, maybe it's barbering. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's learning a better way to keep your beard intact. Whatever it is, you want to learn how to not break out. You want to learn how to get a proper massage. There's tension on a massage. There's many different things that you need to know before you hurt yourself. But for me, I've always been curious. How did they do that, right? So I will say, I may not have all of the updates. I don't have the Versace. I don't have the Gucci. I don't have all of those things. But what I do have is authenticity. I don't believe that we should be walking around. This is my opinion. Don't think that I'm saying that everybody has to be like me. I'm just saying uniqueness sets you apart to be your own boss, to ride around with your own name that was given to you, to have autonomy in what you were designed with your own uniqueness, fingerprint, footprint, your skill, your experience, all of that is yours. And when you walk around with someone else's journey that does not give you the best idea of who you are, and you're still trying to figure out who you are or who you were created to become, it makes more sense to acclaim the wins with your own branding. So, hairstyle, back to it. I learned that having a uniqueness to learn how to make a wig, how to create different hairstyles, how to learn about the quality of how to get the best density or, the type of hair, virgin hair, human hair, processed hair, just the fact of a track, and many women who do know anything about hair extensions or anything like that, how the porosity, how the strands of hair looks like it's not even of the same hair family, or all of those things that I needed to know as I built that engine, right? But what I will say, I wanted to learn so that I could provide quality, right? And I'm going somewhere. I'm not trying to bore you with my journey, but there's a reason that I'm sharing this. So as I started learning that the branding of the hair and the virgin hair, and knowing the supplier the distributor, the warehouse, the ability to take from what was in my mind out and put it out into something that I implemented through my creation. I needed to learn about the manufacturing side of it, right? How did they do that? Learning the best way to do it with a sewing machine to speed up my work. How to cut it and how to manipulate it to fit my head, measurement, sizing, so the cap doesn't come out too small or that I didn't sew the knots too tight, how to bleach the knots, I'm talking foreign language to those who don't know, right? But it's education. What I taught myself because I sought out to learn it. Long story short, cosmetology didn't teach me that. 3 hours a day, 2 years. And even after that, I graduated from that for 2 years and went to cosmetology school to learn even more because I didn't complete something. But I then realized the chemicals were not healthy. Ammonium diglycolate. And if Trisha, Karen, or whoever else was in, Lorraine, all of us were in, or Stacy, all of us were in that, right? Some of us went on to do great things. Some of us left the field. And I'm sorry, Kim, I know you're on here somewhere. You were in there too. And I'm talking about Kim Turpin. But I'm saying all this to say, we wanted to know how. We became good at our own pace. But we had to have some curiosity. With me, I was really looking at opening a salon, right? This was visions, thoughts, maybe, there was no internet. There was just an idea, right? YouTube wasn't here. People were holding on to information as if it was gold because they didn't want to share. But now we have the World Wide Web to get anything you need, right? You had to learn how to use it, had to learn how to do the search terms, check the blogs. This was before YouTube. You had to learn, how did they do that? How did they formulate that through a search query? So, long story short, and I know that was kind of long because most people are not into the stuff that I'm into. I will say it started with just the inquiry of how did they do that. After that, life started happening. I lost track of what I was passionate about. I liked certain things, but I didn't have the time because I also had to work 2 jobs. In some cases, I was doing 3 because I was working and I was trying to run a small little home-based business. And I was also working part-time as I was working full-time. And I was raising a baby at the time. I did whatever it took, right? Everyone has to step into their timeline. Did some things right, did some things wrong, right? So the thing I wanted was for them to teach me. And when I noticed that they weren't teaching, I had to go find what I needed. So at the time, no one was sharing all of this information. They were holding the information and they felt like, whatever, you're not going to go into their perceived box to share. And so what I realized is if you're not going to share, I have to go and supply my own need. If I'm going to go to get my hair done, you're going to need to know how I want it done. But the only way that I can do that is go through the magazines. Where is that picture that I said I wanted my hair cut? That was back in the day, and Miss Natalie will know this. It's an asymmetric half top, high top. You learn as you go, okay? You just do what you got to do. Make it work. And hopefully it turns out okay. So what I noticed, everybody had an asymmetric. It was stacked long. Stacked long. Some people get that. But we all had the same hairstyle. Because everybody was copying one another, but they had a different face to fit the hairstyle. Some people were looking at the hairstyle to be the same, but you may have a square chin. You may have an oval chin. You may have a heart face. You might have a oval face. You may have no forehead. You may not have a forehead. I'm joking, but that's the way we used to think. Every hairstyle is going to fit because I saw it in a magazine, and it's just going to come out the way I want it to look. In all honesty, y'all, forgive me. Not every hairstyle is for everybody. And when you describe a hairstyle, looking at a magazine, if they don't have the same face as yours, or even the same color that you want, meaning as you want the color, but not every color matches your skin. Not every hairstyle matches your style, your face. Everyone has their uniqueness. So why would you think purpose is everyone's forte? You have a uniqueness that was created just for you. Everywhere we get our concepts, our ideas, is another opportunity to seek out what you desire. And everyone's concept, everyone's journey is not yours. So every time that you put on attire that does not have your name on it, you're wearing someone else's journey. Every time that you put someone else's hairstyle that is mimicking everyone else, it doesn't have the same look as you thought it would. Every time that you put something out that is uniquely different in your business, it spells you, your colors, the way you do things, how you bring and formulate things. Everything is uniquely designed for you. So back to it. And I understand that this may be long-winded, and I may not catch everyone's attention with this concept, but I want you to understand this. I started realizing, and you listen, I'm going to just say it. I understand that we are limited with the content that we can share on social media. So if you really want to hear this story, I would advise that you go on my YouTube channel. Yes, I know there's not much there. I'm not going to fall short this time because 2026 has to be the winning side. I say that because things are changing. We're changing into purpose. And I'm not sitting aside. So what I don't finish on this recording or this particular event, it's going to be definitely something that you're going to want to catch for the series, because it's somewhere I'm going that I want everyone to catch hold. I want everyone to succeed. And I want everyone to know we all have a time and a season for everything. Whether you get it at the moment I'm sharing it, whether it's someone else that you get it from, the point is get it. If you have a little bit of time to engage with this content and anything that resonates with you on what I'm saying, you may not know the people that I'm speaking of. You may not even hear this as I'm sharing it. But I want you to understand this. The whole premise that you like what you like, you are where you are, and you're doing what you love to do, or you have an aspiration to do what you love to do, is because, coming close, maybe you're supposed to be doing it, right? It's not for anyone but you. And it'll bother you until you take action. That's the God in you. Chew on that. Chew on that. Don't be like me. Knowing who you are, knowing what you are called to do, and yet you're still fumbling. Because the layup went past your head. And you got to wait for the next throw to you. And here's the thing. The whole concept is you had the ball all the time. It wasn't Wilson. And I don't even know who threaded the football, but it's not Wilson. If you play sports, you'll know Wilson is on those balls. But why am I wearing Wilson's ball when I have my own ball? Think about that. Everything requires a journey. The ball that you carry is what you carry. If you have a hardship, that ball that you're carrying has a story. That story then travels to someone who needs that story because there's a win out of that story. That story is intended to lift. It journeys over time to someone at an appointed time that they get the message. But they don't just hear the sorrow of the message, because if you're going to talk about it, most people talk about it after they've come through it. And that's what becomes your testimony. If you're carrying someone else's ball, you're emulating someone else's story. There's a reason that you're in a place of business, whether it's a work environment. It is for you to learn, but not to stay. It is for you to gather skills to learn their standard operating procedures of that skill set, but it's then your ball with your name on it to carry you to the next step. And what I find is that people are so caught up on everyone else's journey and everyone else's story that they forget I'm carrying someone else's ball. Meanwhile, my court has a lot of debris on it because I keep taking it back to my court. And I'm talking sports, but I'm really talking about your lane. And so I keep saying long story short, but it's really a long story because the story is the victory out of your purpose. And so I recently started building marketplaces, businesses out of a digital ecosystem, digital real estate, something that was going to help us. And I say us because when I was building, I was thinking of you. I was really thinking about those who I serve. And that's really what it's all about, serving others. Because what I have been endowed with, the grace that I've been endowed with, was never for me. It was always for the people that I serve. It was always the people that were going to need a key to walk into purpose and to rediscover wealth that they should have had because they had the ball all along. Where I come in, I'm putting it in a place so that you can cut half of your time in half. And really, you can tell, once you get the concepts, you can cut everything else out because the systems that I'm able to show you can put you in a place where you are always on top of your purpose so that you can show up for the people that need you. So, a system. Remember that word, system. Say it in the chat if you haven't already tuned out. System. The system is learn what you do well, learn where to find it, learn what people need at the appointed time that you are serving, and then have the system make it where everyone who you serve is on autopilot. Automations. I have been blessed. And I'm not taking that lightly. I've been extremely blessed. I'm not puffed up. I'm not selfish. But in some way, I have become selfish because I'm not on time for the people I serve. So I'm stepping out in the place that I'm called to be. Some will be here till the end. Some will soak up what they need. The way I look at it, take what you need and apply it. Learn the lessons that I messed up. The lessons that I learned is when the ideas come, do it now. Don't wait. Do it now. God is a now God. And here's the funny thing. Knowing that he is a now God means that you've already achieved the goal. He doesn't waste anything, and he's true to his word. If you get the revelation that you are the solution, that you are the actual person that's going to break barriers, it behooves you to act. Because when I don't act into the call that I have or into the gift that God has given me, it becomes suffering. So I was mentioning about the start. It was the hair at the beginning. Then it turned into network marketing. Then it turned into a marketing, sales and marketing, but also operations, customer service, and all of the things that are built around that, and being true to the word of fulfilling what a customer or a client would need over time. Giving them a reasonable decision to make a good buying decision on the goods that I was supplying. Then it became where I was rejected. I was pushed off on someone else's plan and had to seek ideas, seek what they wouldn't give me. Excuse me, y'all. I had to seek. Once I saw it, I was able to get dreams, visions, ideas of potential. After that, I went back into, could it really be true? Do I really have what it takes? Doubt. But guess what? When you doubt, God is silent. So you out here just fishing for any good thing that's going to hit your doorstep. Any good thing that, he already told you what the blueprint was. You're just fishing out here thinking that you're out here willy-nilly, right? Can I tell you, beware when God is silent and you think God can't speak. Beware when God is silent, because in the midst of the silence, there is something that he wants you to know. There is something that has grabbed his attention that you are not listening. And usually it is conviction that you didn't follow through. You didn't do it well. You didn't do what was the idea at the time. And someone else takes off with the idea. But it's not the download that he gave you. It's just a piece of the lesson. And when you recognize that you miss a couple of marks, you'll start understanding that that mark was just for you to be nudged. It was a nudge, a jolt to step in line. Only then when you step in line, he'll allow you to hear him when he gives you more ideas and more solutions. We talk about what we want, but we're not listening. And when you start listening to what he really designed you to have, because you already won in what you are desiring, because he gave you the idea in the first place. Duh. You'll start understanding. Stop playing. Stop acting as though it's not yours. Start acting like you are of royalty. It was yours before you even thought about it, because it was already given to you with a victory. And when you start recognizing that you did a couple of things and he can trust you to do more, or he can trust you to give it in the right context, which is your heart, the compassion of your heart to others, he's going to return back what he gave you because you're getting it this time. So I've been set up with being not the actual distributor, not being the actual person that does the work, but putting myself in the owner box. And it's not just the owner box. The concept, the blueprint, the download, the marketplace, the actual systems, the market that I serve, well, that was already written out in 2018. I'm so grateful for that. That means I don't have to build it. He gave me the concept back in 2018. He started talking to me again in 2018. Okay? I had no idea that what I was doing in 2016 was building on foundation that he was silent, because I did it out of order, because I was doing it because I could. I had no idea that I was having to revert backwards for something I never knew was going to be returned to me in the future in 2010. Had no idea that I was going to take what I sought out for in 2021 or 1997, that it was going to be the very thing that was going to unlock for me in 2021. Everything has a pattern. And you can either fall in line where it is a smooth transition of time, or you can come in pulled by, you better get over here. That's the yoke. And if you don't fall in line, it will pull you to the point where you're not in the same condition to resist the pull, because it causes suffering. Because the longer we do, this body ages over time. What was readily available with good, fruitful ideas turns into a yoke that becomes tension over time. So I'm not saying that everyone is me. I just know, my goodness, had I just paid attention, right? Had I just listened and applied what he was showing me, maybe some of this suffering wouldn't be a part of it. But his faithfulness is not a lie. His truthfulness is not a lie. He is the truth. And he knew before I even knew that it was going to be an appointment for me to come into where he was leading me. And because he has trusted me with a quote unquote few things, he's opening up an opportunity for me to step fully in the gate, fully in the appointed time for me to take ownership of what he said I should have. And when I say I am taking it by force because it belonged to me all along, you can tell when it has your name on it. You can tell when it was meant for you. You can tell when everything aligns to what was already said in private with nobody around. That was actually the same thing that he spoke of in what I am doing at this moment. Don't miss your opportunity. Don't miss your mark. And do not fall short. We don't have time to waste. We're all on borrowed time. There are many lessons that we learn along the way. Not everybody is for everybody, and not everything is for everything. And not everybody is going to even catch a hold of this concept. Most people might even check out because they can't get down with the time of this video. That's why it's on YouTube. So please like, share, and subscribe to hear more. But I want you to understand it is a process. It's a process that we all have to gain knowledge of. And we don't have time to waste with things that do not elevate our future. So be mindful. People are waiting for you to step into what you have. I have become someone who loves to share, but there are things that I have messed up. For those who counted on me, those who didn't see me, those who are even looking right now for this video. Well, I'm late, but I'm also doing things the way I'm supposed to do it because I am literally in investments. I am literally in the calls that I'm supposed to be on. I am doing the work that you don't see. And I can't split myself in half, but a system can. So I want you to be mindful. Everything that you desire, if you have the desire for something, if you have aspirations, if you're not moving fast enough, stay connected. Because what I'm sharing with you mostly is my lessons that are still being rediscovered, right? But there's a lesson that I want you to understand that we're all in different places. If you hear anything, take in some substance. And anything that does not apply to you, spit those bones out. But what I want you to understand also is that everything that I share with you is either for the person who's going to take it, or it's going to be the person like me that needs it. Like it's a lifeline. I needed lifelines. And some things that may not be a part of your, you may not want to connect with, because it's like, she's talking about faith all the time. Well, Jeremiah 29:11 says, we're here only for an appointed time for purpose. Before I was born, I was already this. It is about rediscovering that nothing moves, nothing exists without fulfilling the purpose. Your business doesn't exist. Your ideas don't exist. Your wealth will not be released. People are in different places, spaces, and time. And what you discover is that most of the places that they're in is because they're trying to run it in their own way. And I can honestly say, if you're planning to be successful in a foreign land that has borrowed time, that we've already won, and you have to rekindle who you really are, rediscovering who you are, well, you have to go through the learning that we are not of ourselves. We just got misguided and we forgot. We were here for those to catch hold of the message. So that is all for now. I know I didn't finish my story, but if you stay tuned, like, subscribe, and share, anyone who you feel that would be helped on this, know this. I'm pushing out of the way. Yes, I got things that is coming up, but I have to get this done for such a time as this for you. God bless you, and I hope that you got something out of this long video, but I want you to understand it's time for all of us to walk within who we were created to become. Be blessed.